Obviously, pursuing either of the two extremes would be unrealistic. Having an open border or attempting to deport most of the undocumented residing in the United States of America would be absurd. Many safety, economic, logistical, practical, and ethical issues preclude the implication of either. Also, it is not just focusing on national sovereignty and violations of laws. Some aspects dealing with history, culture go back more than 200 years. Certain interactions, activities, and exchanges have been entrenched into the societies and are of critical importance to many involved, directly or indirectly. Regarding deportations, it would be far more beneficial if they were prevented from coming here in the first place. Having to resort to the practices that adversely impact families and having people living in fear is far from the preferred humane way of handling the situation. The presence of many of the people here undocumented is essential and beneficial in different ways. The presence of some of the others is detrimental to the country in different ways. Others have differing or combination of effects, but there are limits as to how many can be beneficial. In some situations, the limits have been far exceeded. Statistically and demographically among the citizens of the United States are some of the best of humanity, as well as some of the worst. This also applies to the individuals unofficially crossing the border into the United States. It has been repeatedly illustrated that the vast majority are people seeking employment and a better life for themselves and their families. Some come here fleeing for their lives, some to engage in criminal activity, some to give birth to children to benefit from American citizenship, some to visit family members, some to live with family members, some to be with family members that are dying, and some for other reasons. Still, most would rather remain in their countries of origin if conditions were acceptable. Naturally, people would feel better living closer to relatives and friends. Nostalgia, memories, cemeteries where loved ones are interred, and other reasons are very important to most people. Also, many prefer their local customs and have pride in their nation. Many take the journey at great risk and sacrifice and only have noble intentions. Arguably, it can be concluded that the vast majority of American citizens could not go through such risk and sacrifice seeking employment. This partly due to the social assistance programs available to most Americans. What percentage of those undocumented immigrants would widely be considered as desirable to be living here? What are the different ways they affect the lives of others? Statistically, how does the general population of American citizens compare? A significant portion of American citizens are considered to be undesirable in that they adversely affect others by engaging in certain criminal activity. Would such an American be more desirable and welcome than a more desirable person that is undocumented? The country would be much better off if all the Americans that are undesirable were to be replaced by those undocumented individuals that are very desirable. Of course, that was only a hypothetical statement, not to be misconstrued as a suggestion. Just that all aspects should be taken into consideration. People often think in terms of Americans, illegals, and those in any other countries. Some don't believe in foreign aid and helping people in other countries. Others feel that all Americans should be first, that consideration, assistance, financial aid, compassion should start at home, that the lives of Americans are more important. Many are not at all concerned with sufferings and deaths of people that aren't citizens of the United States. It is estimated that between 1990 and 2014, well over 10,000 people died after crossing the border from Mexico illegally. Many succumbed to the elements, some were murdered, among other causes. Also, many have been robbed, women and girls have been raped, Girls under the age of 10 have been violently raped. Young women and girls have been kidnapped, never to be seen again. Numerous families have been devastated at the loss of their family members. Many of the deceased have never been found and or identified. Many family members don't know what happened to their loved ones. Some are still hoping that someday they will return. But consider the following. What is the definition of American? Some Americans aren't assimilated into this country, not even speaking English or familiar with the basics. Some Americans are very undesirable people and are a detriment to this country. Some people from other countries have very profound positive influences on life in this country. Does the life of an undesirable American have more value than that of a very desirable citizen of a different country? Is it right to assess someone's life based solely on national origin without regard to their attributes? And keep in mind, a lot that happens in other countries with other people very significantly affects the lives of people living in the U.S. These include factors related to the environment, the economy, and security. Unfortunately, a perfect solution to the unauthorized immigration issues is not widely known.